In the world of cult films, Charles Band is considered a legend. With a career spanning over 40 years, Band has produced almost 300 films, as well as directed over 50. While not as legendary as Roger Corman, Band is still a very popular figure in the horror and sci-fi genres. He's responsible for classics like Reanimator, Trancers, Ghoulies, the Puppet Master franchise, Laser Blast, Subspecies, and Demonic Toys, amongst others. As a way to pay my respects to Charles Band, I am introducing Full Moon Fridays. In this series, I will be covering all of his works, from Charles Band Productions to Empire Pictures, and of course, Full Moon Features. So without further ado, here is Full Moon Fridays. After the fall of Empire Pictures, Charles Band relocated to the US to form what would become Full Moon Productions. Prior to this, he had produced the 1987 Stuart Gordon-directed Dolls. Band was fascinated by the concept of killer dolls, so he decided to create a new film with that idea. While coming up with the title, he was reminded of another movie he made at Empire called The Dungeon Master. He remembered people really liking that title, so he decided to use the word master to create Puppet Master. He tasked David Schmoller, who he worked with on Tourist Trap, Crawl Space, and Catacombs, with directing. Originally intended for a theatrical release, Band decided to release it direct to video, believing that it would be more successful. Turns out, he was right, as this one film managed to spawn 10 sequels, a crossover, and a reboot. So let's see just how this franchise got started. We open on the Bodega Bay Hotel in 1939, where puppeteer Andre Toulon, William Hickey, is working on his puppets. However, two Nazi spies are after him because they want the secret to his puppets. It turns out Toulon has found a way to bring life to the puppets, and the Nazis want this knowledge. Before the Nazis break in, Toulon packs up the puppets, hides them in a wall panel, and kills himself. Cut to several years later, where college professor Alex Whitaker, Paul Lamette, has been having strange visions. Alex is summoned to the Bodega Bay Hotel, along with Dana, Irene Miracle, Frank, Matt Rowe, and Carissa Catherine O'Reilly. Turns out a former associate of theirs, Neil Gallagher, Jimmy F. Skaggs, has died and has brought them together. As they try to figure out what's happening, Toulon's puppets come alive and start killing them off one by one. For a low-budget direct-to-video horror film, this film is much better than one would expect. While the story is fairly basic, it's still engaging and moves at a pretty good pace. Luckily, this movie is only 83 minutes long, so it never overstays its welcome. As for the acting, it's not really anything special, but everyone still does a decent job. The characters aren't given much in terms of personality, but you're never annoyed or bored by them. In terms of standouts, Irene Miracle is pretty fun, with her sarcastic quips and sassy attitude.
I prefer to think of myself as a nasty bitch.
That's enough, Dana.
Fuck you, you Ivy League tight ass.
Paul Lamette is alright, but it does somewhat feel like he's just going through the motions. David Schmoller's direction is pretty solid, especially when it comes to the POV shots of the puppets. Plus, the movie has plenty of violence, nudity, and blood to keep you entertained. Of course, the real highlights of the movie and the real reason to see it are the puppets. While their screen time is limited to around 10 to 15 minutes, they're still the best part. Not only are the puppets well designed and each have a unique look, but the stop motion animation is top notch. The stop motion was done by animator David Allen, who worked with Band before and would continue up until his death. Given that Allen was nominated for an Oscar for Young Sherlock Holmes, it's no surprise the animation is superb. Allen really helps bring the puppets to life, giving their movements a very uneasy feel and look. While it would have been preferable to have them hear more, they still end up stealing the show. Overall, in spite of the puppets' limited screen time and a fairly basic story, Puppet Master is still worth a watch.
Do you think Buddy here's ever gonna get a real job?
I see retail sales.
What? Retail sales? No, ma'am. I'm sorry. You better look again because Buddy here, he flunked out of the 10th grade. I don't see how he could be in retail sales.